Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at the Denver Broncos after they just re-signed Kareem Jackson to their secondary. He was already a Bronco, but he hit the free agent market and it was going to go somewhere else, but now he is back. But before getting into that topic fully, question for those of you viewing on the channel, we typically do a fact-based question, but today this is kind of an opinionated, funny one. Broncos all-time tight end Shannon Sharpe. Who wins in a fight? Shannon Sharpe, Denver Broncos all-time tight end, or another all-time tight end, Tony Gonzalez. Shannon Sharpe versus Tony Gonzalez. Who wins in that brawl? Comment down below who you think would win. But getting into this topic in all seriousness, this Broncos team is relatively stacked and pretty underrated in my opinion. Looking at this secondary of Kyle Fuller, Kareem Jackson, Ronald Darby, Justin Simmons, PJ Locke, that secondary might be the very best in the NFL when they play at their full potential. The Denver Broncos have the 9th overall pick in this NFL draft, and I entertain the idea of them maybe possibly drafting a Caleb Farley or Patrick Surtain, two of the top cornerbacks in the NFL draft. But looking at this secondary, it is for the most part spotless now that you have Kareem Jackson back. Even when he was possibly going somewhere else, Caleb Farley and Patrick Surtain was not a necessity. But overall, this secondary is spotless. You got two great corners, Kyle Fuller, Ronald Darby, and now you got to accompany them in the secondary, Justin Simmons and Kareem Jackson, and they are not alone on defense. Of course, you got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb on the pass rush, and really, those two alone, you don't even have to mention another guy, and that is going to be scary for any offensive line. Von Miller has been a little banged up, and he's getting up there in age, but I think he's got plenty of gas left in the tank, and Bradley Chubb is basically a Von Miller Jr. These two will work well together when healthy and when this defense is on point. You got a great coach in Vic Fangio, who's pretty defensive-minded and a great coach that can help this team. Now, on offense, when you get a healthy offensive line, getting Juwan Jennings back, you already had Garrett Bowles. He's a pretty good tackle. But in the receiving core, that's where the health concerns were. Cortland Sutton was out the season. Noah Fant was banged up. And Jerry Jeudy, he was pretty healthy for the most part. But he wasn't going to carry the load of Cortland Sutton and Noah Fant being down. But now, having Cortland Sutton being healthy, Jerry Jeudy's going to be probably taking a step forward from his rookie year to sophomore year, and now having your tight end back and Noah Fant at 100%, this Broncos team on paper can go places. However, if everything is perfect on the roster except for your quarterback, you can only go so far. And I'm not saying Drew Lock will hold this team back, but from what we have seen, he is holding this team back. And I understand rookie year, he didn't have a lot of play. He's dealt with two different offenses, and he dealt with the season of his defense being injured, so they're constantly behind, and his offense being injured, so he doesn't have many people to throw the ball to, and just COVID in general kind of messes with things, not having OTAs, having mixed coaches, and I understand that, and I'm giving Drew Lock the benefit of the doubt. But this year, everything is on his shoulders, just like other teams around the NFL. Matt Stafford, the Rams team, is on his shoulders. He needs to prove that the Rams are worth trading, that the trade was worth happening. Carson Wentz to the Colts, he needs to prove that the trade was worth happening. Daniel Jones of the Giants, they got him help on defense and offense. He needs to prove that he is worth being the franchise guy, and same thing with Drew Lock. I know you're still young, but this is a prove it now year, and Drew Lock really needs to show that he could take the reins of the Denver Broncos and take them to the promised land. And really, I hate to say they need to make the playoffs this year because he's still really young, and you're in a tough division with the Kansas City Chiefs, who are arguably the best team in the NFL. The LA Chargers, I think, will be a playoff team as well. And Las Vegas Raiders, don't suck. They're not great. They're just a around 500 team. So the Denver Broncos are definitely not in the easiest division by any means, like the NFC East. But with this type of roster, with arguably the best secondary in the NFL, two amazing pass rushers in Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, a relatively strong offensive line, and a great receiving core with two great wideouts in Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and a great tight end safety blanket for Drew Lock and Noah Fant. This team has to go to the playoffs, and I haven't even mentioned what they could do with the number 9 pick, whether it be Devontae Smith, and now Drew Lock can just throw the ball up in the air, and any of those guys will probably catch it because that talented receiving core could do anything. Or what about the possibility of replacing Drew Lock? Going Trey Lance, going Justin Fields, going Mac Jones. I know it's risky, and I know you still don't know what Drew Lock is completely, but if you're the Denver Broncos, you have seen what Drew Lock has, and if you've seen Trey Lance at a camp and you think he has it and Drew Lock does not have it, you make the move, you cut your losses, and I understand it either way. I'm not the Denver Broncos. I don't see what they see. I don't watch the tape like they do. I don't study the quarterbacks like they do, so I can't make that call. But either way, they have to invest in Drew Lock completely, get him an extra receiver at number 9, get him an extra tackle, get him an extra pass rusher, do whatever it is to benefit this team or cut your losses and replace him and take this team to the playoffs with a brand new rookie quarterback. And I know not many rookie quarterbacks can go out and win a division. Not that I think the Broncos have a chance of winning a division with the Chiefs and Chargers, but not many rookie quarterbacks can even go to the playoffs this first year. So I'm not expecting Trey Lance to carry this team to the playoffs if he is signed by them. But I'd love to see them make a move that could take this team to the next level. Kareem Jackson was a huge signing just because the secondary is so stacked now with Justin Simmons, Ronald Darby, and Kyle Fuller. And like I just said, Kareem Jackson. The secondary is for the most part spotless. You're well coached. You have a good pass rush. Your offensive line is stout. Your receiving core is going to be healthy. The only question mark on this team is the quarterback position. I need them to find an answer soon for them to be a serious threat. I think they have the playoff talent all around, but like I said, the quarterback, if you don't have one, you can only go so far. They seriously need to figure out this season. I'm excited to see what happens, but number 9, that's really going to determine what we do for the Denver Broncos. Are they going to replace him, or are they going to invest in him and get him a weapon that he needs? We will see, and I think they have a good shot at the playoffs if they execute what they do at the number 9 overall in the NFL draft. Not to boil everything down on that, but it's definitely a factor. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and who would win in that fight, Tony Gonzalez versus Shannon Sharp. Thanks for watching, guys. 2 in the morning.